Yeah, what happened? Palinha was already in the building holding up a Bayern shirt, but the clearance from Fulham never arrived. And he was sent back on his private jet on Friday night again. Thomas Müller joked that on hearing that news, Thomas Tuchel would have probably bit into uh, a seat of the plane he was traveling on in frustration. Certainly not happy, certainly still not happy on Saturday talking about it. He called the squad composition thin. He called it gutsy with barely veiled sarcasm and repeatedly said, we will see if it's enough for the rest of the season, heavily implying that it's not. As a coach, I'd be very unhappy as well because Bayern have sold one of their four central midfielders. They tried to get a replacement in, it didn't happen. They sold a right back who can play as a centre back in Benjamin Pavard. They loaned out a right back who can also play as a centre back in Stanisic, and they also didn't bring in anyone. And now in those two positions, they're a little bit thin on the ground. And I think that's why, before we go into the ins and outs of what that means for the club and what it says, etc., that's why the game took on an extra dimension of importance, because if Bayern had lost or perhaps even drawn against their bogey team, Borussia Mönchengladbach, we would have had a huge sense of this club is unprofessional. There's a big problem here. Tuchel and the board are fighting. It's going to be a big problem going forward. But as it was, the team actually played really well, especially in the second half when Tuchel made some changes. And I think people feel, maybe even Tuchel himself, feel a little bit more positive about the squad, knowing that, yes, in terms of quantity, maybe there's a couple of players missing, but the quality, especially if they're finding their feet and things are beginning to click just a little bit more, is still considerable. The transfer window, though, Christoph, I mean, can you remember a Bayern Munich transfer window where on the last day, the deadline day, they are still trying to get important players in, but not only that, then they fail to do so. To me, that is a very novel and very worrying precedent, which I think shows you how, if not chaotic, then at least complex things have been behind the scenes without a proper sporting director in place. It was Christoph Freund's first day at work on Friday. not the best start for him, but I think it underlines that the so-called transfer committee, Ausschuss Sport, perhaps had a few too many people involved to have a streamlined process in the end.
Yeah, I mean, seven people involved is a lot. It's just too much. And yeah, and you're right. Nobody can remember a situation like this, because a situation like this never occurred before. So, and it's very un-Bayern. Because it's normally, so in the past, Bayern, at least in Germany, was boss. They got what they wanted. And probably it's also a bit of a sign of changing times, that they are not at the top of the food chain. I mean, they look like they got Harry Kane, so a fantastic transfer for them and for the Bundesliga. But yeah, maybe it's also expressing a kind of power shift in international football. I think they really have to analyze what happened in this transfer window. Was it just bad organization? bad scouting, I don't know, haven't they been prepared enough, or whatever, or if it's something general that their position in the world of international football has changed.